Over the past 4 years, Melissa Harris Perry made a name for herself as the host of an eponymous cable news show, unafraid to take on conventional wisdom or ruffle some feathers. That was until her show abruptly ended last month.
I always knew I would leave eventually. I had no intention of being on television as the rest of my life. But I did absolutely think that at a minimum I would make it through the election year. I had every intention of covering the entire 2016 election. I am still processing this in a lot of ways, and I only know it from my side.
Her side is that despite her show's increasing quality over its 4-year run, executives at MSNBC had begun to limit her airtime, preempting her show, lessening her appearances on other network programming, and dictating her content. MSNBC President Phil Griffin insists that Harris Perry's show was valued, but that the network was asking all of its hosts to temporarily shift coverage to the ongoing presidential election. Harris Perry didn't believe that the shift would be temporary.
I think it's been about a year since Andy Lack came on as the new chairperson and started moving the direction of the channel overall. But most of it was leaving weekends alone. So, you started to see, particularly on the day side, a shift away from what they thought of as editorial content towards more news-focused content. And we suspected that at some point there was going to be a shift that would happen on the weekends. I never would have expected, though, that the shift would have happened without a conversation. And the big changes that happened for our show was that we just lost editorial control. All of the branding was taken from the show. We were told sort of what stories we could do and not do. We were told what guests we could book and not book. And then I was told that other people were going to be hosting during my hours. And so once that happened, it was clear it was going to be, as we call it, disappeared, right? So I was going to still be getting a check, but I wasn't going to be able to either be in my time slot or be having the conversations that I wanted to have around the topics and issues I wanted to have them around. It was better to just not get the check. I did not want to be disappeared. I did not want to lose that opportunity.
Harris Perry, a Wake Forest graduate, returned to her alma mater as a professor in 2014. Her previous career in academia served as her launch pad into political commentary.
So, the University of Chicago from 1999 to 2006. Then I was at Princeton University from 2006 to 2011. And then I was at Tulane from 2011 until 2014. And then I came back here to Wake Forest.
After establishing herself as an academic, Harris Perry moved into television and became a frequent nemesis of conservative talking heads after making controversial statements about Mitt Romney's family and bringing the discussion about identity politics to the national stage. Harris Perry's own identity as a college professor began to evolve simultaneous to these career developments.
When I first started doing TV, students would sign up for my classes because of my classes and then would be a little surprised that I would be leaving on the weekends to go do a television show. By about the third year, people were sometimes signing up because of the TV show and then would be surprised to find out that I was a real professor, which was funny.
Since moving on from MSNBC, Harris Perry has begun to carve out her future career path. She was recently named the editor-at-large at Elle and plans on staying active in political discussion through mediums other than cable TV.
I have 3 media partnerships, all of which will be announced, in soon. One got announced. That's the editor-at-large at Elle. There will be 2 more. Just still working out contractual things. I think you're going to see that all of them are connected back to Wake Forest in some really great ways. Part of it is I want all of my projects to be feeding each other.
Even though she is no longer on television, it is clear that Melissa Harris Perry and her opinions from Nerdland have no intention of sitting on the sideline.
Gather round, Nerdland. I have a story to tell.
From Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I'm Kevin Kloss. Now back to the studio.